the first person in my life is my uncle, my father's younger brother. At the age of 57, he was struck with lung cancer. He was unmarried, and therefore he had no children to help him. He underwent surgery of the spine, but he was told that it was terminal, and therefore the hospital also did not want him to stay. I transferred him to a hospice, and I visited him regularly. When he was there, he confided that the nurse aide actually pinched him because he could not understand English properly. He passed away a few months in the hospice. I was very sad, but I was actually very angry that a nurse aide, a caregiver, would be so heartless to a helpless terminal cancer patient. I felt the pain of his terminal days. The second case in my life was my father. 5 years later, my father had lymphoma, stage 3. He underwent chemotherapy, but the cancer spread. I was at the early stage of my career, and I could not spend too much time. At that time, my mom was a caregiver, supported him a lot, and my uncle, my second uncle, my mom's brother, came every day to inject him. He needed injection every day. But he passed on. I felt very sad because my father worked all his life. He never had taken a holiday. When he died, I sat quietly to him, standing by next to his coffin. I told him to go in peace, and I will look after the whole family. I was the eldest in the family. The third case, that is myself. A decade later, I was struck with breast cancer, stage 2. When my doctor phoned me, I work in Hong Kong, I'm based there, that I had cancer, I was like struck with lightning. I came back, I went through surgery, radiotherapy, and chemotherapy. It took about 8 to 9 months, but I survived. I had a lot of support from my siblings, from my uncle, from my friends and relatives at that time. They cooked for me the food, they drove me around for my treatments. Not least, my husband, he was with me all the time. After I got into remission, I had a different perspective of life. I decided to give up my big fat pay job. I was a consultant. And I decided to start my own company, my own consulting firm. Just nobody, just me, because I wanted to be in control of my time. Next was my mother's youngest brother, an uncle again. He was contracted with pancreatic cancer, and that was terminal. I tried to give him the support I could financially, as well as the knowledge I know about cancer, but he couldn't make it. He passed on. I supported my aunt mentally, emotionally, and financially that I could. But the last, and that was most shocking, was my husband. In 2013, he was diagnosed with sarcoma, and that is cancer of the tissue. He had one lump here, and that grew into 2 lumps. I brought him to Singapore to be treated, and he was diagnosed with that. So it was really a shocker to me. I decided that I have to fight cancer together with him after all my experiences. We were not insured because we were self-employed. I was prepared to give up all the savings to save my husband. We were very fortunate. We got a very good sarcoma specialist. My husband went through 3 surgeries. He almost had his leg amputated, but that was saved. and then he went through chemotherapy. The end of the story was he was in remission. He was alive, but he lost a bit of his memory because of the chemotherapy. What is my message today? Cancer is life-threatening. It is too much for one person to bear it alone. Cancer patients require a lot of support. Cancer givers cannot waver. They have to give. When they waver, they weaken the cancer patients, their will to fight the cancer. Cancer patients need a lot of support, some of them financially. A lot of them require mental, emotional, and financial support. My message, give it to them. Give them a lot. Give them generously. You have to fight cancer together with them. Life is a gift from God. Never take cancer lightly. Fight with them. Thank you so much.